Soma should be what this is called. I should have knocked this out the day it came out instead of putting it out for so long. Yeah, this is like nothing. It's like a little, the first 30 seconds into it, I was like, all right, I get it. This is like a last track. I don't know if it is the last track, but it should be. Like, this is the perfect, like, track 12 on this thing, or 13, or however long we're gonna go here. Because it's like, it's just this little, it's a perfect last song. You can pull the CD on track 11, you don't have to deal with it. It's like a little piano thing. It reminds me a little bit about, it reminds me a little bit of, what was that, New Blood? Where he took all his songs and made them really slow dirges with piano. I didn't understand that. Sorry. My long COVID, that doesn't exist. For anyone, not just for me. It's simply, it's not a real thing. But, yeah, this is, that New Blood thing. Wow, that was rough. Like, I get it, and I don't mean to get too far into that stuff, but I get the artistic thing of it. It's something he wanted to do. You know, take his, some of his most loved songs and slow them down to dirge speed with minimal piano accompaniment. I mean, that's good for him. Like, that's what he wanted to do artistically, but I don't want to listen to that shit. And then he took that stuff on tour. And then, after he was done with that, he did like a live album and a DVD with that stuff. It's like, oh man, that eats up so much time. That eats up years. And then that was back to back with the Scratch My Back, I'll Scratch Yours project. This guy's an expert staller. You know, that's like between these two projects, that's like 10 years of nothing new. That Scratch My Back, I'll Scratch Yours thing was, I love Pete, but that's kind of arrogant. It's like, I'm going to do these songs and then these people are going to cover me. It's like, David Bowie ain't covering your stuff. I mean, he might be an admirer of some kind, but outside of pinups in some really early days, he doesn't do many covers, you know, especially from his peers. Like, he just doesn't do that. I mean, so Pete expected, like, oh god, what am I gonna do here? Anyway, I'll wait this up. So Pete expected, like, to do these songs and then everybody else to cover him. It didn't work out the way he wanted to exactly. He got most of them, but Bowie didn't do it. And in his place, he got David Byrne to do the Bowie song, or to stand in for Bowie, whatever the point, whatever the thing. And then the other one was like Coldplay. There's a couple other bands that just didn't do it, which was kind of like, you know, there was always a risk there of doing that, because he picked the songs he wanted to cover by the artists he wanted to cover, and then I guess he had a tentative commitment from some of these people, or maybe not at all. I can't see Bowie even making a tentative commitment to do this. It seemed kind of weird. Like, he just assumed that, you know, I don't know, maybe thought he does have a lot of pull. You know, he does have a lot of pull because of his humanitarian work. So maybe he was going off the assumption that people think they owed him something. I don't know. I don't know how that guy thinks. I know that he thinks very slowly. Never mind his recorded output. You ever see that guy in an interview? Wow, like, you gotta really notch the speed up on that. But yeah, so he took up like 10 years, because he did the I'll Scratch Your Back album, and the You'll Scratch Mine album, and then they did he released like a double combo with both of them. The only thing he didn't do to stretch that project out is to make a live album and DVD. I'm surprised he didn't do that. It's like, the thing is with him, right? If he didn't keep promising new material, I don't think people would give him shit about it. But before he releases something, like, he was talking about Up not long after he finished Us. You know, you don't have to Babe Ruth this thing. Just kind of do it when you want to do it, or don't do it at all. So when then he doubled down, like when Up came out finally, he's like saying he's going to have I.O. like next year. Like, why do you do that? Why do you put that kind of pressure over yourself, you know? Or yourself under the pressure. Under, over, sideways, out. Illuminati confirmed. Like no one's making you do this. Like, so why do you call this stuff so far in advance? This last thing, we're still waiting for I.O. He's been dripping it out and making you show up at his back door like a stray dog every month. Here's another bone for you. It's a bright mix of the same track I gave you 2 weeks ago, but it's different. I don't know how different this one can be, this so much. Unless I think, you know what, maybe both of them might have even have come out and I just don't care, because it's a nothing track. To me, as a fan, it's just like, you know, filler. It's filler. And he already has one of these on there too. He already has like the pseudo Randy Newman kind of piano thing. He already has one of these on there already. I don't know, I was unimpressed with it. The artwork is, you know, like all this other artwork, it's mildly occult, satanic in some cases. The burning guy in the field on the court, that's that was actually a ritual, like some kind of banishing ritual for evil spirits, they said. I forget what they said it was, but the burning in effigy of that figure on the court single was part of a ritual. So it's just boring modern art, these art accompaniments. And then you go to the Peter Gabriel section or whatever, you know, online music collection or streaming service you have, and it's just shitted up now with 14 new singles from this album that's not even out. The whole thing is just, at first it was like, you know, I felt like, well, it's an interesting idea, but the guy hasn't released anything in so long, seems kind of dumb, whatever. 7 months into it, it's just like, enough. Just put it out or don't, you know? I mean, that's not, of course he's not gonna, you know, listen to me, but I think a lot of people think that, you know? But, and again, like I've mentioned this almost every time, I don't think he could have put a track list together. His indecision is famous, where he doesn't know what to do, like every producer that he's worked with, and it's just gotten worse over time. So now he's at the point where he's so indecisive about his own creations, his own music, that he's kind of passing the burden on to the listener. Like, oh, I'll give you two versions, and if you come to Bandcamp and join my Moon Unit Club, you get the demo version, you get Manu Katche's naked drum track, you get all these other possible things. It's just, you know what, Pete, just send everybody to sell the mixes and just have it, like all the tracks, and just let people do their own mix. You know, but then he wouldn't know what tracks to include, so he'd be like, all right, I'm gonna send you 20 tracks and all the mixes, make your own album. I don't know, like, I don't see it as like a plus, like he's it's this really artistic kind of innovative thing where everybody gets a chance to figure out their own version of the album. It sounds like he's kind of not artistically secure. Maybe that's just me, but I feel like, you know, if you can't make your mind up about any of this stuff, what happened to you? Like, how did you know, it's just weird. It's weird. And again, if he was regularly releasing new material, I don't think any of this would be a problem, and it wouldn't be scrutinized the way it is by people like me. But when this is the first thing that you've released in a number of decades, oh, what happened to my guy here? I hope nothing happened to him. I like that guy. He's talking to the cops. Hopefully he didn't get robbed or something. I don't want to go eavesdrop over there, but yeah, he's the guy you always see me stop at. Yeah, he's doing like some kind of police report. I'll ask him later when I see him. Wouldn't surprise me if someone came up to him and tried to shake him down for his the little money he has in there. That's the kind of thing that happens here now. Didn't always. You know, wasn't always like that. Whatever. Stay focused here. Yeah, so I mean, I you know, I'm a huge fan. Right? I love Peter Gabriel. Like, if I didn't, I wouldn't be talking about this. And the thing too, it's like, you know, people get mad sometimes. It's like, well, why are you listening? It's like, because I know the guy can do good shit. Like, we know he has a standard. And if you don't hold your favorite artist to the standard that they themselves set, you're not going to get good shit. You're going to get 5 versions of this very slight piano piece, and there's going to, and what is this album even going to be? Like, is he releasing them in the track list? Is the first one Panopticon? I don't know. The whole thing is weird. I think years from now, when this is all over and it's finally been determined what the track list is and what version of what song is using the track list, it won't be that big a deal. It'll just be another Peter Gabriel album. I think as far as albums go, I think I like it from what we have so far. I think it's more interesting than Up, which to me was a bit kind of dour. Had a lot of stuff about death and aging, and you know, there's some of that here too. But it was a little downbeat for an album named Up. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think, like, in a lot of ways, I wish I had just sort of ignored this year and waited for him to figure out, or for the fans or whoever to figure out what it's going to be, and then look at it then. But that's kind of hard to do, you know, as someone who's interested in his music and what he's doing. So here we are, 7 months into it, with me still bitching about it. But yeah, I didn't like this one. You know, better luck next moon, man. Whenever the next fucking blood sacrifice moon is, however you guys do it. Hopefully it's more upbeat, like that, the Road to Joy one. I like that one a lot more. I mean, it was just the Steam, Kiss That Frog type song for this album, which Up didn't have. Up didn't have one of those. And yeah, I mean, it's derivative, but what it's derivative of is really good. I'll take that all day, you know. I'd take more stuff like that. All right, so we'll see what happens. I think I waited so long on this one that the new one's probably coming out soon. I'm just not super enthusiastic about any of it anymore. Sorry, Pete. But you know, I've come this far, 7 months in. I feel like I'm halfway across the channel. You know, swim halfway across the channel. But as my buddy Steve would say, where are you swimming to? Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.